Good morning, Bears. Good morning. Happy Labor Day to all of you. Yes, it is a fine, wonderful Monday. And bear with me. Can't avoid saying that if I want to. Where'd it go? It's back there somewhere. I've got too many windows open all at the same time. I've got Andrew J in here, I believe. And welcome, Andrew J. I haven't put the notification out anywhere else yet, but we're going to get that rocking pretty darn soon here. Alright, so what you just heard was a little piece that I'm in the process of working on. So you got to hear it midway, which is kind of fun. And that was some music that I'm working on with my kids, actually. All of my kids had a part to play in getting that music put out. They all got to play a percussion instrument, and we recorded all those different parts. So it looks like my stream is skipping like crazy, but I don't really know. Let's see here. Let's find out what is going on. We got two up in here. Video output's low today. I don't know what's happening, so I don't know what you're hearing, what you ain't. Let's find out. Any better? Not sure yet. Looking for the there's three up in here. Cool. I am looking, pardon my nose scratch there, for the bitrate stuff. See if I can reduce it. Stream options. Let's see here. Don't see any lower the bitrate. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. Thanks, Homemade. Good to see you, by the way. Mayor, good morning. Yeah, I'm working on fixing that. How's the audio? Is the audio consistent? Anybody hear me or not hear me? Because we could do something about that. We could affect that if it be possible. Let's see here. Audio's good. Great. That's excellent. That's a rock on. Alright, well, here's what I'm fixing to do. Yeah, it looks like it's starting to chill out a little bit. Let's see here. Give me that. Come on. There we go. I have the chat in a separate window. I'm going to put this window down so I don't have to worry about it. And then this guy is going to come over off to the side. Yeah, it's complex. I'm trying to make a nice, enjoyable live stream. But I'm more than happy to do it. Dude, that's awesome, Homemade. 50 bucks. Well, shoot, you need to call me up. We need to get some lessons going on. That's what needs to happen. You come learn how to do it legit. Flavored water. Oh, I thought at first, Mayor, I thought you said something there about gluten, but I didn't look close enough. It was Guten Tag. I haven't spoken my Germans. I haven't sprechen my Deutsch in too long. I'm losing my ability to sprechen Sie Deutsch. There's a hilarious band out there. One of my favorites of all time. Their name is Lost and Found. And I may have been wearing a shirt of theirs in the gluten time. I may have been wearing a shirt of theirs from their final tour. 30 years these guys were out on the road doing music, doing stuff. Just a guitarist and pianist, right? And they actually were really well known for having done a bicycle tour all around the United States. They went 8,500 miles. Played what was it now? 310 shows. Stayed in 270 different homes. I may have some of those numbers not 100% right. but you should check them out. They're speedwood.com if you want to find out more about George Baum and Michael Bridges. Those two were probably some of the most influential cats for my musical upbringing. Hands down, some of the most influential. By the way, before I continue, if anybody is in a position to do it, please drop a link again for this specific video, because I just dropped a mention that I was going to do the thing here. But if someone would drop one in the chat and one in the Unbearables app, I would be massively grateful. So I wasn't up to speed getting notifications out, like getting the video set up in advance. Shocker. Trying to make this software work, and I get tunnel vision-y. Oh, you're awesome, Andrew. Thank you. Yeah, I get kind of tunnel vision-y trying to make this stuff work, because it's not I'm not comfortable with it yet, and I've been busy with other stuff during the weekend, so I didn't ever end up getting this all set. Hey, Tommy Lee, good to see you. Glad you got Fred Nord is also here. Hell yes, here. We got Mayor, we got Andrew J, we got some crew. That's awesome. So, how many were in here when I was playing intro music? Because if you weren't, I will play it again, because it's worth playing again. It was fun. Yeah, just tell me. I will share some of what I did here. Obvious, but still funny. Hell yeah. Oh, that's cracking me up. All right, let's see here. I like having this microphone. My sound is so much fuller, and I'll have to listen back to the video and see if I enjoy my voice for radio when I use it appropriately. Don't squeak like I'm in puberty. Let's see here. So I'm going to pull that up real quick. Yeah, this is a little piece that I wrote with my kiddos here. I'm not done yet. It's in process, but this is just the beginning of this piece, and 4 of the instruments in this are my kids. Let's see here. Hopefully I don't blare you all out. Hey! Big drum in the house! So, that's just a little bit of what I'm working on with kiddos there. It should be fun as it gets finished. But, yeah, so all 4 of my kids played a percussion instrument and helped make that a thing. So that was a lot of fun. How would I say that? I was trying to teach them how to get the rhythm, just specifically what we needed there. And the way I worked it out was, as long as I could get just a moment of them playing it right, I could take that moment and cut that and then put it into the thing. And as they get bigger, as they get more comfortable doing this, hey, Bass Texan, good morning. I'm surprised Bass Texan doesn't have mod privileges, because that's not right. I don't know how that oversight happened. Well, welcome to Wrench Life, Bass Texan. You've earned it. You're certainly one of us. We're getting into tribalism here. This isn't good. You couldn't hear the music? Really? Nobody heard it? I'm going to be really shocked when this all goes down. Did anybody hear the music when I played it just a little bit ago, or was that just Best Answers who came in later? Nobody heard nothing, huh? No. So I'm just dancing with nothing going on in the background. Yeah, I imagine it would be. That's funny, man. That's hilarious. So I haven't quite figured out how to involve this stuff in here yet. I've got this whole little soundboard thing hooked up, but apparently I haven't patched things right so as to get the music up in your ears. And it's funny because according to the microphone, it was coming across. So I'm going to try this again once more. That's funny. Let's see what happens this time. All right. All right. Uno mas. Turn my mic down. Can you hear my mic? How about now? Anybody who still hear me? Yeah, apparently you can because my volume's all up. That's weird, man. All right. Oh, and I probably have that mic on too, don't I? Hello, hello. I'm just testing this stuff a little bit here. Hello. I wonder if it's this mic and it's not. That's so weird, man. I don't know what's going on. I guess I have two mics on when I have that up. But let's see if this music works this time. I'll try Uno Mas. Nothing. Yeah, that's really weird. I'll have to figure out why that doesn't work the way I want it to. It's a little frustrating, to say the least. Um, I'll figure that out. So that's funny. At any rate, I have to work on that. Hey, Mama Bear, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a little bit. Glad you're here. Coffee. Yeah, we're gonna have to figure that one out. Let's turn my mic back up just a hair, without blowing everybody out here. All right. Good to see y'all. Good to see y'all. Very cool. So it's Monday. It's the next Monday in this grouping of Mondays. Yeah. Let's see here. So, spent the weekend with my wonderful children, and we went to the Wheels of Time Museum that's located nearby here. And they have all these old cars. They have a lot of historical little displays. Fred, ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch. Yeah, I don't have a clue what that even means anymore, except for Deutsch and Sprechen. I lost my German speaking abilities, which I need to regain. I took a half a year of German, or almost a half a year of German, in sophomore year of high school, and then I took a year's worth of it in college. You'd think I know 9, right? That's this many. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, it's no. I would enjoy a Das Boot, right? Like to drink from one. That would be fun. Ich bin Amerikaner und spreche nicht gut Deutsch. Ja, das ist gut, ja. Das ist nicht so gut. Nein. Mein Deutsch ist nicht so gut. And it's horrendous because my family comes from the Ostfriesland area of Germany, a little town, an area called Emden, and we're actually from a spot right outside of Emden called Gruthusen. Gruthusen is this tiny little, mostly farming community, but I think there's other stuff going on there. It's near oceanic areas. Why am I getting muddy? Muddiness is not what I dig. I'll have to fix that. At any rate, yeah, it's beautiful out there, and one day I'd like to visit it. It's now German chat. You guys have officially shifted everything. Good job. Well done. Yeah, I wanna learn how to properly speak the language well again, and I might have an opportunity to immerse myself. We shall see. Don't know, but might be sometime in the future. We'll see. There could be some happenings, but I don't know any details on that yet, if and when that opportunity might arise. But if it does, I'll be sure to let you guys know when the time is right to let you know. Cryptic, huh? Yeah. So, let's see now. So no, Sven Computer will not be coming to join my show. Just to quell any rumors about that right now. That's not what I'm alluding to. Oh man, yeah, I'm eagerly awaiting to hear the resolution to that whole story still, because I know there's got to be something. All right, so that wasn't what I was going to discuss today, but I'm going to discuss it a little bit today. So there we go. So Crowder, right, and not gay Jared, who is now just the Jared Monroe, good old guy. They snookered everybody for a while with this hashtag Never Daily business that they did, and then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, we've been having a research kind of committee looking into going daily, and lo and behold, they started the Mud Club and they went daily. So they were thinking about it for a long while they were still saying hashtag Never Daily. I did this before. That's not hashtag. That's hashtag. So they did that, and then what else did they say they did? Well, not gay Jared. After 4 years, they finally let it loose. Yeah, he's actually really not gay. There's no ambiguity here. He's married, and he's fixing to be a dad. So yeah, now he's no longer on the show. Oh, you don't know about the Sven thing? My mother is driving pleasure? What was that? No, I don't believe I said anything about my mother is driving pleasure. What phrase did I say that sounded like my mother is driving pleasure? I don't recall that. I know that my voice doesn't stay clear the entire time, but I don't know what's going on. Verbal test. That's hilarious. Okay. That's cracking me up. You're looking at the German. Dein Mutter ist Warenhugen. I see where it is. Okay, so Mayor, you haven't heard anything on the Sven Computer business? My mom is a saint. In ways. I was just trying to read the thing there. I don't know what's going on. The Nazi speak? Yeah, that's probably what that was, because we're all Nazis, right? That's funny. I'm going to knock this thing around here. That's terrible. Well, she did have to put up with me drumming all the time as a kid. And yes, there were limits put on, thank God. Otherwise, I just would have had no propriety whatsoever. No, Sven Computer. Okay, so I'm going to give Mayor the quick rundown on the Sven Computer, and those of you that already know, bear with this, but it's worthwhile. So, you're familiar with the Sven Computer character from Steven Crowder. Sven Lucas is his name, and I guess almost a couple months ago now, he came on the show one day and held when Steven pushed his little button and said, and at Sven Computer. He actually said at Sven Computer. So he set his Twitter handle for him. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Do your thing with your hungry cat. Just let me know when you're back. I'll talk about that in a minute. So at any rate, oh, are you back? You said you had to feed a hungry cat. Yes, it's a Crowder character, but if you've got to do domestic duties there to keep your animal alive, do your thing. I missed the thing about Ivan. Oh yes, what Ivan tells, Sven was fired for being late and attendance issues, but that's not for sure. Yeah, so there's so many theories on this, right? There's so many different ideas about what happened, and the most prevailing one is that he was an intern and then had been on the show for a little while. Okay, cool. So Sven was an intern, right? There at the Crowder show, and they made him wear the box over his head and all that stuff, and silly things. They even sent him into like panels and meetings at like South by Southwest and other places to sort of infiltrate the certain little panels about all the genders, right? And drop his 2 cents, like, well, I'm computer gender, and things of that nature, just to be really silly, and see if he would be accepted or tolerated within that. And wasn't. He was thrown out on both occasions. But he never physically assaulted anybody. He never did anything that disruptive. He was being, a bit of an ass, and he had an earpiece in his ear and had to say whatever they told him to say. But it was pretty ridiculous. But this was a while back. A couple months ago, he is on the show. Steven presses his button and says, "And at Sven Computer, how are you doing?" Which is not characteristic. He doesn't usually say his Twitter handle for him, but he must have missed a Windows update. Nice. No, he's a Mac. He's a Mac system. He held up this little sign from a notebook or something, a little tiny piece of paper, like 3x5 kind of card, and it said hashtag SCIAL, and in parentheses ampersand or the and DPHE. So, and then close quotes or close parenthesis, right? That was it. He just held that up for a couple seconds. That's all you saw of it. And he said, "Yeah, I'm fine." He didn't even mention it. He just was talking like, "Yeah, I'm doing well." And then Steven stopped him and said, "You know what? I just realized, first I plugged you, and then you plugged you, right? And I'm afraid for that you are fired, sir. No more at Sven." Oh, never mind. And that was essentially a moment that we thought was a joke, but we never saw him again for the rest of the episode. Not even one shot of him for the entire rest of the episode. Not necessarily uncharacteristic because they've got other things going on, but at that point you never saw him again for the rest of the episode, and never again, period, right? From then on, he was never seen on the show. So I guess sometime shortly after there, he tweeted that he'd been fired, but that tweet was later deleted. I've seen pictures of what was supposedly that tweet when he was fired, and he's put a couple of tweets up and things saying, I can't give you all the information right now. I can't talk about it, but I appreciate all the support. And then he dispelled some rumors. There's some rumors going around saying that I said something inappropriate to Steven's wife, Hillary. That's completely untrue. Never did that. So there was that going on. And then there's been some things that were shortly after that where Steven ended the show talking about different things. And in one of the shows, he talked about how ungratefulness is not a winning trait. Having gratitude or having gratefulness for what you've got is really important. He talked about how somebody, that was a good friend of his just blessed him with something when they really needed it to get to do a certain segment, gave them use of his private plane or whatever for them to go and do what they needed to do. They didn't even ask. He just supplied it. There was some talk that, in the way Steven talked about this, that people surmised that maybe what was going on was that Sven, being an intern, came up and asked for a raise or to be paid because you have to make, I've heard this talked about too, that supposedly you have to make a certain amount of money in order to remain in the country. If you're on a visa, right? If you're on a work visa, you have to have an income of a certain amount, otherwise they're going to have to deport you. I don't know if all of the details behind that or not, but I've heard some of the Bears mention it at times. So whatever was going on with all of that, Sven was no longer in the show, and then there's these theories that came out that were saying that his little hashtag thing meant SCIAL meant Steven Crowder is a liar. Now, I've never seen any substantiation on that from Sven, but that's just been surmisation from people that have theorized about it, and that's about the only one I've heard. I'm sure there's other possibilities behind that. Four letters or 5 letters could be initials for anything. And then the second part of that was in parentheses and DPHE. So that was suspected to mean and doesn't pay his employees. So what you saw was Sven was gone, no explanation, and he won't even answer it. I don't think she's Armenian. I thought she's just a regular blonde American girl, but she could be, and I didn't know. Hey, Charity, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, so let's see here. Losing track of thought here. So Sven Computer put out some other things about what he was up to there. He put out some other posts here and there, and basically said, I'm not going to answer specifics about what's coming. I don't know if he can't or won't. But later on, you see a picture of him and Jared hanging out together with some other fan of the show. Well, I'm good at that. I usually stream around this time, 8:30. And now it's Labor Day. If you're off, way cool, and enjoy that. I'm glad you could come on in. Yeah. So I'm trying to think now. Yeah, there's a picture of him and Jared hanging out somewhere that somebody else took of them, and then there's a picture of Jared and his wife, supposedly, and then Sven and some other guy hanging out at, I think, the church that both Jared and Sven go to. I'm not sure. It's what the tweet said. So they're all buds still, but it was like Sven and Jared, and then Aaron, the intern, or why can't I think of Aaron's last name? That's escaping me all of a sudden. But all three of them leaving the show approximately the same time, and it was weird for a lot of people. They don't really know what the heck was going on. So. And they're all still following, like Steven and everybody else on that show still follows Sven on Twitter, which in and of itself is not, too odd. I mean, maybe they want to keep track of what's going on with him. And maybe there's legal things they want to see if he says something, so it could be a reason, but I guess there's decent enough ties going on, but he's just not on the show. So there's a thought maybe he was too demanding and asking for money that it was inappropriate for him to ask for. Maybe he legitimately did, and Steven was like, heck no, that's not happening. Or maybe there's something else going on, and they're priming for getting Sven to infiltrate something, being like a disgruntled former employee. He's out, and maybe he's in a position to help them carry out a future video, kind of like Jared going undercover with Antifa. I don't know. Yeah, I agree. Getting fresh folks in there is probably good. It may just be exactly what it seems like, but there's some oddities there, and I think people are going to talk about that for a while. Plus, that probably drives some Louder with Crowder ratings up a little bit when people are like, I don't know what's going on, and I want to find out. I want to see the end of this saga. So, yeah. I'm curious. I want to know what the heck is up, because I highly suspect that it's something that they're planning in the works that's still going to involve Jared and Sven. I think Aaron may have legitimately left, Aaron the intern, but I think he's wanted to pursue more of a film career. But I don't know, a lot of things that happen and no explanation of it. It's kind of weird. So, yeah, exactly. Hell yeah, you're right on. So I don't know what the deal is. Lauren Southern in third seat equals ratings. Are you familiar with Steven Crowder, Charity? Because if you are, a little bit of his show. I know there's I mentioned it when the first times you showed up in here. There's a furry by the name of Master Zelox. Who's an interesting character. He was on Crowder's show a while back for an interview, and to talk about some different things. But he's a neat guy. If you've never heard of Master Zelox or Steven Crowder, check them out. Maybe they're up your alley, maybe they're not, but they're fun, I enjoy them. They're comedians, and they mean well. They come from a particular political perspective, I guess. But yeah, both YouTube channels we're checking out. And Zelix is a cool guy. He's different. You know, he's interesting. In fact, right after his interview, I didn't know. If you guys haven't heard of Master Zelix, so go check out some of his stuff because he's got some intelligent stuff to talk about. Yeah, it's just at Master Zelix on YouTube. Definitely worth a look. He's a unique guy, but he did his Crowder interview, and that was huge. Because it really opened their eyes to more of what the furry world was all about, you know, to understand a little bit more of it and some of the controversies that exist within that world. When the interview was done, they were telling him goodbye, and this was not video that made it into the interview, but apparently they sent him a copy of it, and they were telling him, hey, have a great day, you're going to have a good time. And as soon as he gets off, Steven's like, that is a really smart guy who's into some weird stuff, you know. And now that is like Zelix's ending bit to all of his videos. He tags that on the end of all of it. It's just funny. It's like, yeah, you know, somebody just telling the truth about you and giving you props appropriately in a funny way. I liked it. I am not actually, Mama. I am furry. Like I have a good amount of hair on my arms and face, so I have natural fur costume that I can't take off. Now, Charity spoke up to this about this previously. She is a furry. She is a she put it a fursuiter, not a mersuiter. I always like to make that distinction because she made that distinction for us and taught us something. So always glad to see her in the chat. And I was going to ask, yeah, I've been wanting to get a hold of you. Charity, feel free to send me some sort of an email or something, if you could, to bigdrumbear@gmail.com. Because we'd love to keep you in contact with some of this. I don't know if you still have an email address to get a hold of us. I know you said you had some Google troubles or something, but I had some other questions for you about some things, and I wanted to ask you offline here. So if you ever can, send an email. I'd be grateful. All of you, I would love to have emails because I am trying to put together a newsletter type thing, and I'm trying to have some more audience involvement with some of these things to help like actually plan ahead for future shows and have like a week's worth or even, dare I say, a month's worth of shows like figured out ahead of time. That'd be way cool. Yeah, just good old, let's see here, let me type it in so you can just click a link for it because people like to click things. I know people can type too. But let's see, I'm slow. I took a typing class in high school and I'm still slow. Yeah, there you go. Just that simple. And you send me an email and I will keep in touch to any of you and see if I can get a newsletter going at some point about what's coming up with the channel, what the plans are. I sent some pictures this weekend off to Steve Pinder, 1911 Bear, of Chunk the dog. And those pictures, one of those is going to get turned into our Don't Be a Commie, Love Chunk Guevara shirt, right? It's going to be Chunk. Oops, knocking my microphone around. It's going to be Chunk all decked out with the Che Guevara beret and his scraggly beard and all of that jazz. So it ought to be pretty funny. You know, it's yeah, it seems like people are interested in having a Chunk shirt. So I'm definitely going to get that out there. But Steve is going to do some graphic design work on the image, and then I will do the t-shirt campaign through Teespring. And we will have yet another campaign rocking here. The furries are a strong demographic. You are right. And I thought about that, you know. Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, I thought a lot about that. It's all good. I'm also broke a lot of the time. Yeah, it's like I thought about furryism, right? As kind of one of those last bastions of I guess like freedom of expression in a sense. Like that's the way you want to get down. You wanna exist in a sense as your character, you know, the character that you've created, in a sense, that character that you see partly as you having anthropomorphic characteristics in a way. Oh, do you not already have one? I thought maybe you already had one. Or do you just do like a head thing, like makeup and stuff? Yeah, it's different. It's weirdness. Yes, and I celebrate weirdness of myself. You know, I'm not a normalist guy, but you kind of need a little bit of weirdness to be an artist, a musician. We think differently, right? So I'm like, hey, cool. I mean, it's not what I do. I'm not usually going around dressing up. Not every day of the year. I used to do it once a year. Right on. Okay. All right. I think Zelox is kind of similar. I don't know that he has a full body suit, but he has a headdress kind of thing that he wears. Um, and it's funny because in his videos, Zelox is hilarious. He'll like be smoking his vaping or whatever it is he's doing through his suit head, and the smoke will just be coming out of every escape that it can in the head. It's really funny. Mm. Unique guy, interesting guy, well spoken. I think he's an Aussie. I think he's an Australian guy. That's all? Dear Lord in heaven. I tell you what I could buy for $650. Good night, nurse. Yeah, I could pay an electric bill, a phone bill, and get groceries for the month. That's what I could do with that money. I could pay for my next kid's set of braces. I have 4, right? And the third one is getting ready to start braces before too long here. I think the oldest is just wearing retainers now. The second one, he's getting ready to go from just expanders and all that to actual legit braces. Hey, Inspector, welcome. Glad you could join us. Glad to see you, right? Let's see here. Yes, it is Labor Day. Thank you all for those of you that put in hard work and make this country function, unlike myself. I do the work of education. now, Charity, is that just a RAR, or is that an acronym? RAWR. Could that be an acronym for something like related to yourself or to the furry community at large? Or is it just RAR in all caps? Because either way, that's cool. Let's see here. I don't think necessarily it has to. It's just wrong. No, I don't think that it. I don't think that it necessarily has to, any more than like people going to Comic-Con and stuff like that. It depends. I guess if it's idolatry, it depends on what you are holding it above, right? If you hold, and in this again, this is if you are a believer like you and I are. I think it's true for all people, but I'm not expecting them to adhere to the same sort of standards of behavior, in a sense that I would expect people that are. Let me rephrase that, because that doesn't quite say what I'm trying to say. Of course. No, I hear you, Mayor. I'm just thinking through this a little bit. On Mayor's question, there is would dressing up as a furry border on idolatry? I would think no. Oh, way cool, Pittsburgh. That's a good place to be. No, I'm thinking that it really depends on what you elevate, what you're elevating it above, right? If you think that doing that is more important than the relationship you have with the Creator, at least in our sense, or living that life out, right? Like Jordan Peterson, for example, I respect very much. Like, people say he's dodging the question on this one, but I get why he doesn't feel comfortable just answering a straight up question. Do you believe in God? It's like, I act as if he exists, right? And the word believe, like this is so key. And I think there's a lot of Christians, myself included, for a long time, who have missed this. Yeah. It's like, so Abraham said, or it was written about Abraham in the book of Hebrews, right? The letter to the Hebrew Christians in the New Testament, who I happen to think Paul or Rabbi Shaul would be his actual name. It's just that people called him Paul sometimes. and now most of Christendom does. But that was a Greek thing. He was a shorter guy, diminutive, small, Paul. That's kind of what that is all about. Anyway, yeah, he would say, I want to say it was in chapter 11, Abraham believed God and it was credited him for righteousness. And the reference there, as I understand it, is to when he said, take your son, your only son, Isaac, and go sacrifice him, right? God never called for human sacrifice. This is not the character of the God that Abraham had got to know by that point. He was very different compared to a lot of other gods that people worshipped in that area. So what's the deal? And he said, he said, next day he's out there, right, doing it. Like, he doesn't say, I gotta go pray. I gotta think this over. I gotta work it out. Yes, pray. I'm not suggesting you don't. What I'm saying is he's not hemming and hawing back and forth over this. I just don't know what the will of the Lord is. He just told you. And Abraham's like, yeah, I figured that out. I've done enough of this, like, not doing what God told me to do throughout my life. By this point, I've got it figured out. So I'm going to go do that, right? And he does it. He takes his son, right? And some men to help him carry stuff and a donkey, and they go, right? They go like a 3 days journey. And he's just like, we're going, right? And they're taking this stuff up the mountain. That's belief, right? That's this term. It's not like intellectual assent to the idea. No, I'm talking about Abraham in the Bible. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm not talking about intellectual assent to an idea, not like an agreement with, oh, I believe that he wants me to do that. Yeah, while I sit here and do nothing. That's not belief, right? Belief is the action, and the mental part of it, right, would follow if your action is in line, right? Like belief that this chair I'm sitting on, right? Belief that it can hold me up. You know how I believe that it'll hold me up? I don't say, you chair, you're going to hold me up. No. I sit in it. That's belief, right? That's the Hebraic concept of belief as they would have understood it. You act on behalf of it. So when Jordan Peterson says, I act as if God exists, that is functional belief, right? He admits fully that he doesn't fully understand some of the things that the scripture says, right? And that's honesty. I respect that. It's like, I don't know. From my reading of things thus far, I'm unsure about some things. Like I see like there might be some contradictory nature in the Gospels, at least this point thus far, right? So I'm not comfortable with it yet. I don't get it yet. The deity of Christ, I don't know about all of that. But what I do know is he said, do this, do this, do this. Like, if you want to live well, these are going to be good things. These are the archetypes that I see all throughout the scripture, continually communicated over and over and over again. So much so that he's teaching lectures on the Bible, right? From a psychological perspective, because he thinks it's going to better people's lives. And he's going out there with the hope to better people's lives so that they make better choices. They live more functionally, right? I'd say, yes, he believes. Yes. He acts as though God exists, and he's trying to see people's suffering diminished in some way. What's a succubus? You're a succubus. Okay. Well, I hope that that's a positive thing. Let's see here. Mama Chama. Let's see. Yeah, he's teaching those biblical lectures and they're crushing it. Yes, they are. Now think about that. Think about that. Views in the millions, right? People being interested in psychological analysis of the Bible, right? In the millions of views. So the majority of those people, the horns, that's cool. Let's see here. The millions of those people that are watching that, a good percentage of them are probably not college academics, right? They're everyday people, right? So part of what he's mentioned about that and what you can extract from that is that the average individual picking up on these videos is not just your typical, I can only watch a 30-minute TV show and understand a simplified plotline. Simplified? I made that word up. He's making this point that the average person is very smart, and we haven't been giving them credit for that. The average person can handle complex arguments, complex ideas much better than we think. It's just, are you willing to assume that that's the case? My wife and I have conversations about this a lot, and I always assume, like I tell her, I assume she is more than capable of handling complex situations and ideas. Like I just make that a given, right? You're engaged with the speech, or you're engaged to be married, Charity? Which one? Because with that I'm talking about, or that you're getting ready to get married? Because both are cool, right? But super congratulations if it's the latter. Yeah, definitely want to so say. Um, and that's okay to squirrel me a little bit. I accept occasional squirreling in these things. Congratulations. That's very, very cool. We wish you and your future um, betrothed much happiness. That's very, very awesome. I always love to celebrate when people are going to be married. That's an amazing thing. You know, and it kind of ties into some of what I'm talking about. Like when people are willing to connect their lives together, right, and they take even a minor amount of consideration what that's going to mean, um, that's a beautiful thing. Like their individual sufferings are going to be somewhat reduced because they're going to take on the suffering of the other one, and they're going to do what they can to help reduce that in life. Right? You're going to seek out to improve the quality of each other's lives through marriage. That's a good thing. Go in there thinking that you're going to do the best you can for that other person, right? And you're likely to get reciprocation in that the more that you think that way. I didn't think, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back by saying this, but I'm thoughtful about it, right? So understand the context that I'm saying what I'm about to say in. Yeah, exactly, Inspector Bear. They're working class folk, right? And they're looking to improve the way that they live their lives, to just do a better job of it. But what I'm about to say now is again, it's about me, but it's not to pat me on the back. It's just because it seems really relevant right now. So I got up. I made my wife coffee this morning because I know we both have coffee every morning, and she was still not out of bed yet. So I brought her the coffee. Hey, dude, what's happening? That's Harold Green popping in the chat. Good to see you, brother. He says public ed has been a bust, in his opinion. Didn't teach important life skills and much history left out. Critical thinking skills also underrepresented. You are absolutely right, brother. I still see that. Good to see you, man. Hey, guys, like I said last week, if you don't have it, you need to go to haroldgreenmusic.com. That's green with an extra E on the end, as you can see in his name. haroldgreenmusic.com. Pick up yourself a copy of the Love album. I think it's only like $10 to download it. It's so good. If you want a physical copy, there's ways to do that, and you can go to the website and find out. I'm sorry to hear that, Charity. That's, well, I don't know. I think you guys should have long conversations about that. Yeah, that happens in culture. There are people that feel that that's the case, you know, and I don't know that that's going to be for his best, but then do your research. I would do your homework and see what other people's lives are like after they've gone that way. That would be my recommendation. That's something that Dr. Peterson discusses quite a bit about. But at any rate, oh, okay, I think I misunderstood the context of that statement, maybe. I'm not sure. Yeah, dig in deeply. There's a lot of discussion on those issues. I'm not gonna ignore you, but I'm not getting sidetracked on that right now because I was thinking about something. Harold Green, yeah, Harold Green hotmail.com if you want to get a copy of the album. I highly recommend it, no matter your background, no matter your interests. Yeah, it's totally worthwhile. It's a great disc. I love listening to it. I love playing it, right? I love playing the music from it. My kids love a lot of the songs in there. I think my favorite song is a track that I shared a little bit of last week in one of the shows. And then I think it was Thursday's show. Man Inside Me. That's a great track. But then I'm also a big fan of, oh, dude, yeah, if you are into guitar, Mayor, you got to email Harold and get his latest books, man. He has a new book out. Tell me the title, Harold, because I don't remember the title of the new book. You know, if Harold comes up here, I'm going to plug him because he's awesome. He's such a good friend, and I want to see him continue to grow. And Logic, we need vouchers. Yeah, what's the name of the new book? Let's see here. Guitar 2. Okay, so it's a new Guitar 2 book. So he'd had a Guitar 1. I don't have any handy right here. I should have them nearby so I can show them in the video. But Harold plays violin. Harold's got some violin skills going, and he's a big Kansas fan. So David Ragsdale is the is it David or Daniel? I thought it was David Ragsdale. He's a violinist for Kansas and a fantastic player. So yeah, you got violin questions. Harold's definitely got to ask. He's a good man. Yeah, you've got some skill though. You can hack it. So oh, Charity's been playing 6 years. I'm sorry, I misread that. David Rags, I was right. Okay, cool. So next steps, right on. That's cool, man. Kerry Livgren, man, you gotta love it. You call him Rags. Rags to riches, rocking that violin. All right, so yeah, Livgren's flipping cool. He also played on another musician's album that one of his albums that I'm a big fan of, Mr. Neil Morse. If you don't know about that, that's somebody that gives us a great deal of musical inspiration. But we hit a lot of different areas today. I don't know if you caught it, Harold. But we were talking about Abraham and answering the call to Isaac. But it was belief, right? The idea about belief, that belief was not like, well, I believe this, right? I think that's true. You know, belief was like, no, if you're going to sit in a chair, you sit in the chair. You don't just say, I think that chair's going to hold me up. And that's the kind of belief that Abraham demonstrated when God told him, go sacrifice your son. Next day, he's on his way, right? Heading right out. So in that same way, when Jordan Peterson says, I act as though God exists, it's his way of believing it, right? That's a traditional understanding, or that's the biblical understanding of belief. He's doing, right? He's seeking to do the things he understands God wants him to do. Well, that's cool, man. We got all kinds of musical discussion going on here. You know what? I'm looking at the time. My wife and I have an engagement here to go and meet up with customers that my wife's going to have fairly soon, and she needs me to meet them in case I need to help out on occasion while she is dog sitting while those folks are away. But I'm going to have to bow out a little earlier than I would normally today. Let's see here. Well, that's kind of cool, man. Yeah, I love this. So you've got, if you guys want to contact Harold, you've got Harold's contact there. If you want to contact me about something, I would love to get everybody's emails so that I can start putting this newsletter together and send it all out. Yeah, I gotta head out, but I am going to figure out how to get this little soundboard of mine to actually play music back at you that I so desperately want to share with you because it's flipping cool. So right now, what I'm gonna try to do, oh, I can't do that, can I? Yeah, it won't happen unless, no, that's gonna not work, is it? Oh well, I'll figure it out for next time. But at any rate, in the meantime, engage your mind, engage your body, and engage your heart. Seek to serve the ultimate purpose. It's been good hanging out with you bears today. It's been so good having Charity come back, having Harold pop in here, having Mayor, get him updated on the Sven issue. A lot of different things we touched on. It's Monday. I'm just getting my feet wet for the week, but I want input from different folks on. Oh yeah, go to haroldgreenmusic.com. Get the album, get the books. Right, email them about the books. It's a good thing to do. But yeah, I want to get input from everybody on some future show ideas, some things that you'd like to hear me discuss. I've got a couple already in mind, but we're going to get more intense on some of this. So until next time, peace, bears.